Chapter 1. Childhood. Introduces Linda Brent's early life. Initially, she believes herself to be free due to her kind mistress. This illusion of freedom is shattered upon her mistress's death. The event reveals the harsh reality of her enslaved status. She faces impending hardships under a new, unknown owner. Chapter 2 introduces Linda's transfer to Dr. Flint and his wife. This transfer marks a pivotal shift in Linda's life circumstances. Dr. Flint initiates a pattern of increasing sexual harassment towards Linda. This harassment signifies the abrupt end of her childhood innocence. It ushers in a period of intense psychological torment for her. The chapter details the profound impact of this new oppressive environment. Chapter 3. The Slave's New Year's Day details a critical annual event for enslaved people. This day marked the yearly hiring or reallocation of slaves, often against their will. It was a period characterized by profound anxiety and pervasive uncertainty for all involved. Families frequently faced the devastating prospect of involuntary separation on this day. The practice underscored the inherent instability and cruelty of their existence. Ultimately, this event vividly illustrates the dehumanizing nature of the institution of slavery. Chapter 4. The Young Slave Girl details Dr. Flint's relentless pursuit of Linda. It highlights the specific vulnerability of enslaved women to sexual exploitation. Enslaved women lack protection from their white mistresses. This narrative exposes the severe power imbalances and systemic abuse within slavery. Chapter 5. The Jealous Mistress details Mrs. Flint's extreme jealousy. Her cruelty towards Linda is fueled by her husband's advances. This creates an unbearable domestic environment for Linda. Linda is caught between two tormentors, facing constant distress. Chapter 6. The Power of the Master explores the absolute authority of slaveholders. Slaveholders wielded complete control over their human property, denying basic rights. Linda's account highlights Dr. Flint's threats, demonstrating his oppressive power. His control extended to her future, dictating her life's trajectory. This narrative emphasizes the profound powerlessness experienced by enslaved individuals. The chapter illustrates the devastating impact of unchecked authority on human dignity. Chapter 7, titled The Lover, introduces a new character into Linda's life. This character is a free black carpenter, presented as a potential suitor for Linda. Their developing relationship is actively obstructed by Dr. Flint. Dr. Flint perceives this relationship as a direct challenge to his ownership of Linda. He also views it as an attempt to undermine his control over her reproductive autonomy. Chapter 8 explores the distorted perceptions of free states instilled in enslaved people. Enslaved individuals were often taught that the North was a place of starvation and hardship. This narrative was a deliberate tactic to deter them from attempting to escape. The information provided aimed to create fear and discourage any thoughts of freedom. Such teachings manipulated their understanding of life beyond their enslavement. Chapter 9, Sketches of Neighboring Slaveholders, provides crucial context. It details the cruelties inflicted by other slaveholders within the community. This demonstrates that Dr. Flint's behavior was not an isolated incident. His actions were part of a widespread and systemic brutality. The chapter highlights the pervasive nature of cruelty in the institution of slavery. Chapter 10, A Perilous Passage in the Slave Girl's Life, details Linda's struggle. Linda makes a desperate decision to seek protection from a white lawyer, Mr. Sands. This choice leads to her having 2 children with Mr. Sands. Her actions are a calculated attempt to escape the sexual tyranny of Dr. Flint. This highlights the extreme measures enslaved individuals took to gain some control over their lives. Chapter 11, titled The New Tie to Life, marks a pivotal moment in Linda's narrative. This chapter details the birth of Linda's first child, a daughter named Ellen. The arrival of Ellen occurs amidst challenging and difficult circumstances for Linda. Despite the adversity, Ellen emerges as a profound new source of hope for Linda. Her daughter's existence instills a renewed sense of purpose and motivation. Ellen becomes the driving force behind Linda's unwavering pursuit of freedom. Nat Turner's rebellion sparked widespread fear among white slaveholders. This fear was a direct consequence of the insurrection by enslaved people. The widespread panic led to an increase in oppression and violence against enslaved individuals. This heightened brutality affected even those not involved in the rebellion. Chapter 13, titled The Children Sold, details a pivotal moment of cruelty. Dr. Flint makes the decision to sell Linda's 2 children, Ellen and Benjamin. This act represents a devastating blow to Linda, causing immense emotional pain. The primary motivation behind this sale is to inflict punishment upon Linda. Dr. Flint aims to further assert his absolute control and dominance over her life. The sale of her children is a calculated move to break Linda's spirit and will. Chapter 14, Another Link to Life, details a significant event in Linda's narrative. This chapter focuses on the birth of her second child, a son named Benjamin. Benjamin's arrival introduces further complexities into Linda's challenging circumstances. However, it also strengthens her resolve and determination to protect her children. Chapter 15, The Flight, details a pivotal moment in Linda's narrative. It recounts her daring escape from Dr. Flint's oppressive plantation. This event marks a significant shift in her journey. Linda transitions from passive endurance of her circumstances. She embraces active resistance against her enslavement. This flight represents her determined pursuit of personal freedom. Chapter 16, The Hideout, details Linda's initial concealment. She finds refuge in the home of a sympathetic white woman. This temporary sanctuary provides a crucial first step. It is an integral part of her larger escape plan. Chapter 17, The Loophole of Retreat, details Linda's unique living situation. She endures a 7-year confinement within a tiny garret space. This garret is situated directly above her grandmother's house. The loophole provides a precarious form of freedom despite its limitations. It allows her to remain in close proximity to her children. Chapter 18, Months of Peril, details Linda's harrowing experience. She endures constant fear and significant physical discomfort while in the garret. Her confinement is marked by the close proximity of Dr. Flint. The ever-present risk of discovery creates immense psychological strain. This period highlights the extreme mental and physical challenges she faced. Her survival in these conditions demonstrates remarkable resilience. Chapter 19, The Children's Grandmother, focuses on Linda's grandmother. It highlights her unwavering support and significant sacrifices for the family. Her home serves as a sanctuary, providing a safe haven for Linda's children. This establishes a vital connection between the grandmother and the children. Linda's escape from slavery carries significant legal implications under the prevailing laws. Her status as a fugitive slave means she is subject to recapture at any given moment. This vulnerability persists regardless of her location. Even within so-called free states, the Fugitive Slave Act legally mandates her return to enslavement, denying her freedom. Chapter 21, titled The Slave Hunt, details Dr. Flint's determined pursuit of Linda. Dr. Flint initiates a relentless search to locate and recapture Linda. He actively posts rewards to incentivize her capture. Various tactics are employed by Dr. Flint to track her whereabouts. These actions escalate the danger and urgency of Linda's precarious situation. Chapter 22, Christmas Festivities, examines the complex nature of holiday celebrations for enslaved individuals. It highlights the stark contrast between the forced merriment and underlying sorrow experienced during Christmas. The narrative reveals the profound pain of separation and the absence of genuine joy for enslaved people. Linda, from her hidden vantage point, observes these festivities, emphasizing her isolation and longing. Her observation underscores the pervasive suffering and lack of true freedom even during celebratory times. Chapter 23, Still in Prison, explores Linda's ongoing psychological confinement. Despite her physical freedom from Dr. Flint, Linda remains metaphorically imprisoned. Her circumstances create a persistent sense of entrapment, highlighting her lack of true liberty. This narrative emphasizes the profound psychological toll of her prolonged confinement. Linda's situation illustrates that freedom extends beyond mere physical release. The chapter underscores the enduring impact of trauma and systemic oppression on an individual's psyche. Chapter 24, The Old Grandmother, delves into the profound relationship between Linda and her grandmother. The narrative explores the deep emotional connection shared between the two characters. The grandmother's character is defined by her remarkable resilience. Her quiet defiance serves as a significant source of inspiration and strength. This strength is particularly impactful for Linda, guiding her through challenges. Chapter 25, Competition and Cunning, details the ongoing intellectual conflict. Linda engages in a battle of wits against Dr. Flint, her adversary. Linda utilizes her intelligence as a primary tool to evade capture. The support and assistance from her community also aid her in avoiding Dr. Flint. Chapter 26, titled Important Changes, details a pivotal event in Linda's narrative. Dr. Flint, the enslaver, eventually sells Linda's children to Mr. Sands. Mr. Sands subsequently arranges for the children to be sent to the north. This development offers a significant prospect for their eventual freedom. Chapter 27, The Northern Journey, details Linda's escape from the south. Her arduous journey takes her north, concealed within a ship. This perilous voyage is marked by significant danger and physical discomfort. Despite the hardships, the journey represents her definitive break from her past. It symbolizes a final desperate bid for freedom and a new life. Chapter 28, titled New Friends, details Linda's journey to New York City. Upon her arrival, Linda encounters abolitionists who offer her assistance. She also receives kindness and support from various sympathetic individuals. These new connections prove vital for Linda as she navigates her new life. The support network provides crucial aid and stability in her new environment. Chapter 29, The Children's Arrival, describes a significant family event. It details Linda's joyful reunion with her children in the north. This moment highlights Linda's unwavering perseverance. It also serves as a powerful testament to her profound maternal love. The 1850 Fugitive Slave Law significantly intensified the threat to escaped slaves. This legislation mandated the return of runaway slaves to their owners. It applied even within free states, where escaped slaves could be legally captured. The law stripped away the protection previously offered by free territories. This legal framework instilled profound fear among those who had sought freedom. Chapter 31, Incidents in Philadelphia, details Linda's journey to the city. In Philadelphia, Linda successfully secures employment, establishing a new phase of her life. Despite finding work, she continues to face the difficulties inherent in her fugitive status. Linda remains constantly vigilant, aware of the persistent danger of recapture. Her experiences highlight the ongoing challenges faced by those seeking freedom. Chapter 32, The New York Vigilance Committee, details the crucial role of abolitionist organizations. These groups provided essential support and protection to fugitive slaves seeking freedom. Their established networks were vital for the safety and survival of those escaping bondage. Linda, a fugitive slave, significantly benefited from this organized system of aid. The vigilance committees offered a lifeline, ensuring her security during a perilous journey. Chapter 33, A Home in New York, details Linda's journey to establish a stable life. She navigates the challenges of building a new existence in New York City. Linda secures employment, a critical step towards self-sufficiency. She actively strives to create a sense of normalcy for herself and her children. This effort unfolds amidst persistent anxiety, highlighting her resilience. Chapter 34, The Old Master's Death, announces the passing of Dr. Flint. Dr. Flint's death eliminates a direct and significant threat to Linda. However, his demise does not automatically grant Linda her freedom. His legal heirs maintain their claim of ownership over Linda. Linda's struggle for emancipation continues despite the master's death. Chapter 35, The Free Woman's Lament, explores the profound psychological impact of slavery. It highlights the enduring trauma experienced by individuals even after gaining freedom. Linda, a central figure, exemplifies this struggle with her past. Her freedom is overshadowed by the lingering fear of re-enslavement. This narrative reveals that emancipation does not erase the deep-seated scars of bondage. Chapter 36, titled The Purchase of Freedom, details a pivotal moment in Linda's life. Her employer, Mrs. Bruce, ultimately secures Linda's liberty by purchasing her freedom. This act, while granting freedom, is described as bittersweet for Linda. She harbors resentment at being bought after years of personal struggle for emancipation. Chapter 37, Concluding Remarks, presents Linda's final reflections on her personal journey. She also reflects on the broader institution of slavery and its profound implications. Linda emphasizes the moral imperative for the abolition of slavery. She highlights the enduring impact of slavery on both individuals and society as a whole. The author's preface serves to establish the authenticity of the narrative. It explicitly states that the story presented is a true account, not a work of fiction. This declaration is crucial for validating the book's credibility. It positions the text as a first-hand, factual record of the experiences of slavery. The preface thus prepares the reader to engage with the narrative as an accurate historical document. Lydia Maria Child provided an introduction to Harriet Jacobs' narrative. This introduction contextualized the story within the abolitionist movement of the time. Child's role was to vouch for Jacobs' character and credibility. She affirmed the veracity of Jacobs' experiences as depicted in the narrative. The introduction highlighted the critical importance of Jacobs' personal story. It served to validate the narrative for its contemporary audience, enhancing its impact. Chapter 1 introduces Linda's early life, marked by a significant misunderstanding of her circumstances. Her first mistress's kindness created a protective shield, obscuring the harsh realities of her status. This benevolent treatment fostered a false sense of security in Linda's childhood. This theme of deceptive safety is central to understanding her initial experiences. Linda's life undergoes a dramatic shift in Chapter 2 of her narrative. This change marks her transition from a relatively kind mistress. She is transferred to the ownership of the Flint family. This transfer initiates her direct experience with the harsh realities of slavery. The Flints represent the inherent abuses and cruelties of the institution. This period signifies a profound deterioration in Linda's personal circumstances and freedom. Chapter 3 details the practice of hiring enslaved individuals on New Year's Day. This practice highlights the extreme precariousness of enslaved family units. It illustrates how economic transactions frequently superseded human bonds. Families were often separated due to these annual hiring arrangements. The system prioritized labor demands over familial integrity and emotional ties. This underscores the dehumanizing aspect of slavery, reducing people to commodities. Chapter 4 examines the specific vulnerabilities faced by enslaved women. This analysis reveals the gendered dimensions inherent within the institution of slavery. Sexual exploitation was a pervasive and constant threat for enslaved women. This exploitation served as a tool of control within the system of slavery. Understanding these gendered vulnerabilities is crucial for comprehending the full scope of slavery's impact. Chapter 5 details the psychological warfare employed within the institution of slavery. The narrative focuses on Mrs. Flint's actions, illustrating a specific case of torment. Her behavior exemplifies how slavery corrupted individuals, including white women. This corruption transformed them into tormentors of other women, particularly enslaved women. The psychological aspect of this oppression was a significant component of the system. It highlights the pervasive and destructive impact of slavery on all involved. Chapter 6 details the legal and social structures upholding slavery. These frameworks granted slaveholders absolute power over enslaved individuals. This power extended to all aspects of an enslaved person's life. It enabled figures like Dr. Flint to commit abuses without consequence. The system ensured slaveholders faced no legal or social reprisal for their actions. Slavery systematically denied enslaved individuals agency and autonomy in their personal relationships. Masters exerted control over fundamental aspects of enslaved people's lives, including marriage. The formation of family units and intimate bonds was subject to the arbitrary will of slaveholders. This control often led to the forced separation of families and the disruption of romantic connections. The thwarted romance exemplifies how slavery undermined the human right to choose one's partner and build a family. Slaveholders employed deliberate misinformation as a control mechanism. This strategy aimed to prevent enslaved individuals from attempting to escape. The misinformation involved psychological manipulation to maintain dominance. It created a false reality, discouraging thoughts of freedom and resistance. This tactic highlights the psychological warfare used to perpetuate slavery. Chapter 9 expands the narrative beyond individual acts of cruelty. It reveals that Dr. Flint's cruelty was not an isolated incident. Instead, his actions were symptomatic of a widespread brutality. This brutality was inherent within the slaveholding societal structure. Chapter 10 details Linda's relationship with Mr. Sands. This relationship is presented as a desperate survival strategy. Her choices were made under significant duress. The primary motivation was self-protection. She aimed to shield herself from a more immediate and dangerous threat. Ellen's birth in Chapter 11 marks a pivotal emotional development within the narrative. This event brings forth a complex mixture of emotions for the characters involved. It introduces a profound sense of joy, celebrating new life. Simultaneously, it heightens anxiety regarding the future of a child born into bondage. Chapter 12 highlights the pervasive fear of insurrection among the white population. This fear was a direct consequence of the inherent instability within the slave system. The system was constantly under threat from the resistance efforts of the enslaved. Enslaved individuals actively challenged their bondage, creating ongoing tension. Such resistance underscored the fundamental fragility of the institution of slavery. Linda's children's sale in Chapter 13 illustrates slavery's devastating impact. This event powerfully demonstrates slavery's capacity to shatter families. It highlights the profound emotional pain inflicted by the system of slavery. Such sales were a common and cruel aspect of the institution. Chapter 14 introduces the birth of Benjamin, a pivotal moment for Linda. This event significantly strengthens Linda's determination to achieve freedom. Her inherent maternal instincts are profoundly activated by her offspring. These instincts compel her to protect her child at any cost. The birth solidifies her resolve, making freedom an absolute necessity. Chapter 15 marks a pivotal moment in the narrative. Linda's decision to escape signifies her active defiance against the established system. This action demonstrates her determination to reclaim personal autonomy. It represents a critical turning point in her journey towards self-determination. Chapter 16 reveals an initial hiding place, highlighting a network of resistance. This network demonstrates acts of compassion during the era of slavery. It illustrates that such support existed, even among some white individuals. This challenges the monolithic view of the period, showing complex human interactions. Chapter 17, The Loophole of Retreat, describes a crucial turning point for Linda. This concept represents Linda's self-imposed imprisonment, both metaphorically and literally. It signifies a desperate strategy to maintain proximity to her children. The loophole allows her to avoid direct capture or complete separation. It provides a semblance of freedom while still being confined by circumstances. This retreat highlights the sacrifices made to preserve familial bonds. Chapter 18 details the severe physical and psychological strains of living in the garret. This environment imposes significant hardships on its inhabitants. The narrative emphasizes the extreme sacrifices made by those residing there. These sacrifices are undertaken for even a semblance of freedom. They also endure these conditions to maintain connection to family. Familial support plays a critical role in an individual's ability to cope with adversity. Chapter 19 highlights the profound influence of family, specifically Linda's grandmother. This support was instrumental in Linda's survival during a prolonged period of confinement. The grandmother's presence and actions provided a vital source of strength and comfort. Her consistent care and encouragement allowed Linda to maintain hope throughout her ordeal. This demonstrates how familial bonds can foster resilience in challenging circumstances. Chapter 20 examines the legal status of fugitive slaves, highlighting their inherent vulnerability. Even when physically hidden, a fugitive slave remained legally exposed to capture and return. This vulnerability stemmed from the pervasive reach of existing slave laws. These laws were specifically designed to reclaim enslaved individuals as property. The legal framework ensured that escape offered no true or lasting freedom from bondage. Chapter 21 details Dr. Flint's relentless pursuit of Linda. This highlights slaveholders' persistent assertion of ownership over enslaved individuals. The search also demonstrates their determination to punish any acts of defiance. It underscores the brutal power dynamics inherent in the institution of slavery. Chapter 22 highlights a stark contrast in human experience. It depicts the superficial joy associated with holiday celebrations. This joy is juxtaposed with the profound suffering of enslaved people. The observation is made from Linda's hidden vantage point. Her perspective reveals the deep disparity between these realities. This creates a poignant commentary on freedom and oppression during the holidays. Confinement extends beyond physical restraint, encompassing profound psychological and emotional impacts. Linda's experience highlights that true freedom is not solely physical liberation. It also involves a critical state of mental well-being and emotional autonomy. The narrative demonstrates how prolonged restriction can inflict significant psychological burdens. These burdens can manifest as distress, anxiety, and a sense of entrapment. Therefore, understanding confinement requires acknowledging its deep psychological dimensions. Chapter 24 develops Linda's grandmother as a character of significant depth. She is portrayed as a pillar of strength within the narrative. Her character symbolizes quiet, enduring resistance. This resistance is directed against an oppressive system. Chapter 25 details the intellectual and strategic conflict between Linda and Dr. Flint. Linda employs her cunning and resourcefulness as primary weapons. These attributes are used to counter Dr. Flint's inherent power. The narrative highlights a battle of wits rather than physical confrontation. Chapter 26 details the sale of the children to Mr. Sands. This transaction was a result of complex negotiations. Following the sale, the children embarked on a journey north. This journey marked a significant step towards their eventual freedom. Chapter 27 details a perilous sea voyage northward, fraught with danger. This journey is characterized by intense anxiety and the constant threat of discovery. The voyage symbolizes a dangerous passage from the bonds of servitude. It represents the arduous path towards the potential attainment of freedom. Chapter 28 explores the network of abolitionists in the North. This network comprised sympathetic individuals dedicated to assisting fugitive slaves. They provided vital support to those escaping slavery. This aid was crucial for fugitive slaves establishing new, precarious lives. Chapter 29 depicts the emotional climax of Linda's journey. This pivotal moment centers on her reunion with her children. The reunion validates years of struggle and sacrifice. Despite this, the moment is overshadowed by ongoing threats. The Fugitive Slave Law of 1850 significantly expanded the reach of slavery within the United States. This law mandated that all escaped slaves, upon capture, be returned to their enslavers. It extended federal authority to enforce the capture and return of these individuals. Crucially, the law applied even in states previously considered free territory for escaped slaves. This created widespread terror and insecurity for formerly enslaved people seeking freedom. Chapter 31 focuses on Linda's endeavors to establish a new life in Philadelphia. Her journey is marked by significant practical challenges in securing employment. Maintaining anonymity is crucial for Linda as she lives as a fugitive. The narrative highlights the difficulties of balancing work and secrecy in a new city. Linda's efforts illustrate the harsh realities of her circumstances. The New York Vigilance Committee played a crucial historical role. It provided essential practical assistance to fugitive slaves. The committee offered protection, safeguarding them from re-enslavement. It acted as a bulwark against the threat of being returned to bondage. Chapter 33 focuses on Linda's efforts to build a new life in New York. She endeavors to establish a sense of normalcy and independence for herself. Her actions demonstrate remarkable resilience in the face of adversity. Linda's primary goal is to create a stable home for her family in the city. Chapter 34 highlights the death of Dr. Flint, a key figure in Linda's enslavement. However, his death did not immediately grant Linda true freedom. This chapter underscores that slavery was not solely dependent on individual slaveholders. Legal frameworks and systemic structures perpetuated the institution of slavery. These systemic aspects continued to impede Linda's path to complete emancipation. Her struggle for freedom extended beyond the demise of her direct oppressor. Slavery inflicted profound physical and psychological suffering on individuals. Chapter 35 explores the enduring psychological trauma experienced by former slaves. Physical liberation did not erase the deep emotional scars of their past. Former slaves continued to grapple with the psychological aftermath of their bondage. The fear and pain from their experiences persisted long after their freedom. This trauma profoundly affected their lives and well-being, even across generations. Chapter 36 details a pivotal moment in Linda's life. Mrs. Bruce controversially purchases Linda's freedom. This act grants Linda legal liberty from enslavement. However, the purchase itself underscores a profound indignity. It highlights the dehumanizing reality of being treated as property. Even in gaining freedom, the transaction reinforces her prior status as chattel. Chapter 37 serves as Linda's powerful closing statement. In this statement, she directly condemns the institution of slavery. Linda advocates for the complete abolition of slavery. Her argument is deeply rooted in her personal experiences. These experiences provide a compelling moral foundation for her stance. She uses her narrative to highlight the inherent injustices of the system. The author's preface serves to establish the fundamental purpose of the narrative. Its primary aim is to illuminate the specific atrocities and hardships endured by enslaved women. This focus highlights a dimension of suffering often marginalized or overlooked. Broader abolitionist discourse frequently did not adequately address these unique experiences. The narrative seeks to rectify this omission by bringing these specific horrors to the forefront. It underscores the necessity of a comprehensive understanding of slavery's impact. Lydia Maria Child's introduction serves as a critical entry point to the book's subject matter. It positions the work as a vital contribution to the understanding of slavery. The introduction specifically highlights the female perspective on the institution of slavery. Child's text urges readers to directly confront the harsh realities of slavery. This introduction emphasizes the book's significance in historical and social discourse. Chapter 1 introduces Linda's early life under a seemingly benevolent mistress. This initial depiction establishes a period of relative comfort and care for Linda. It creates a stark contrast with the severe brutality she later endures. The narrative highlights the arbitrary nature of kindness within the institution of slavery. Such kindness was conditional and could be withdrawn, revealing the inherent cruelty of the system. Chapter 2 explores the profound impact of Dr. Flint's ownership. It illustrates how a single individual's malevolence can drastically alter another's life. This highlights the immediate and far-reaching consequences of power dynamics. The narrative focuses on the transformation of an enslaved person's existence. It underscores the vulnerability and suffering inherent in such oppressive systems. Chapter 3 highlights the historical practice of New Year's Day separations among enslaved families. These separations were a deliberate strategy to fragment enslaved family units. The primary purpose was to exert control over the enslaved population. Such actions aimed to prevent the formation of collective resistance. This practice underscores the systemic cruelty used to maintain the institution of slavery. Chapter 4 addresses a critical aspect of slavery: the unique sexual vulnerability of enslaved women. This theme is central to understanding the experiences detailed in Linda's narrative. Enslaved women faced systemic exploitation and lacked legal protection against sexual abuse. This vulnerability was a deliberate tool of dehumanization within the institution of slavery. It stripped women of their autonomy and dignity, perpetuating cycles of trauma. Understanding this aspect is crucial for comprehending the full brutality of slavery. Mrs. Flint's jealousy was a central theme, impacting the lives within the slaveholding household. Her anger was misdirected, targeting Linda rather than her husband's actions. This misdirection resulted in Linda being unjustly punished for circumstances beyond her control. The actions of Mrs. Flint perpetuated a cycle of abuse inherent in the slave system. This dynamic highlights the complex and cruel power structures within slaveholding households. Dr. Flint's control over Linda extended beyond mere physical restraint. His methods primarily involved psychological manipulation, a more insidious form of power. He frequently employed threats to instill fear and maintain dominance over her. Alongside threats, he also used false promises to create a sense of dependency. These deceptive tactics were crucial in sustaining his hold and authority. This dual approach ensured Linda remained under his pervasive influence. Chapter 7 details the profound impact of slavery on fundamental human rights. It specifically highlights the systematic denial of personal freedoms and choices. A key aspect discussed is the thwarted marriage, illustrating severe restrictions. This denial included the basic human right to choose a life partner. Furthermore, it restricted the ability to form and maintain a family unit. These accounts underscore the comprehensive deprivation of rights under slavery. Slaveholders employed psychological conditioning to control enslaved individuals. This conditioning aimed to instill a deep-seated fear of the North. The fear was designed to discourage any attempts at escape. They propagated narratives depicting the North as dangerous and hostile. This tactic reinforced the perceived benefits and necessity of remaining enslaved. Such psychological manipulation was a key component of maintaining the institution of slavery. Chapter 9 presents anecdotal evidence of widespread cruelty within the system of slavery. This evidence serves to reinforce the central argument regarding the nature of the system. It demonstrates that the actions of individuals like Dr. Flint were not isolated incidents. Instead, Dr. Flint's behavior is depicted as typical and representative of the prevailing system. The chapter highlights the systemic rather than individual nature of the cruelty experienced. This analysis solidifies the understanding of the inherent brutality embedded within the institution. Chapter 10 portrays Linda's relationship with Mr. Sands as a complex act. This relationship is primarily driven by self-preservation, not romantic inclination. It represents a calculated risk taken to escape a more dire predicament. The choice is strategic, aimed at avoiding a worse fate rather than seeking affection. Motherhood for enslaved women presented a complex and often contradictory experience. It was a profound source of love, fostering deep emotional bonds between mother and child. This love served as a powerful motivator, driving resilience and resistance in dire circumstances. However, motherhood also introduced immense vulnerability for enslaved women. The constant threat of family separation and the inability to protect their children caused profound sorrow. Thus, motherhood was simultaneously a wellspring of affection and a source of deep suffering. Chapter 12 examines the profound impact of the fear of slave insurrections. This pervasive fear among slaveholders led to the implementation of heightened surveillance measures. These measures were designed to monitor and control the enslaved population more rigorously. Punitive actions and severe penalties became more common as a deterrent. The increased control further eroded any existing semblance of freedom for enslaved individuals. It also significantly diminished their privacy, creating an oppressive environment. Chapter 13's narrative highlights the grim reality of slavery. It illustrates how human beings were treated as mere commodities for transaction. This practice was driven by underlying economic motivations. The sale of children exemplifies the dehumanizing aspect of this system. Chapter 14 explores the profound theme of maternal love. This love is presented as a powerful catalyst for resistance. Linda's children serve as her primary source of strength. Their existence fuels her endurance in challenging circumstances. Ultimately, her maternal love drives her fight for their future. Chapter 15 details Linda's escape, showcasing her courage and ingenuity. Her actions transform her from a victim into an active agent in her own liberation. This narrative shift emphasizes her self-determination and resilience. The chapter highlights the power of individual agency in overcoming adversity. Chapter 16 highlights the critical role of community in aiding fugitive slaves. It emphasizes the importance of secret networks in providing support and safe passage. These networks were crucial for the survival and escape of enslaved individuals. The text demonstrates that resistance against slavery was often a collective endeavor. This collective effort underscores the power of solidarity in overcoming oppression. Chapter 17, The Loophole of Retreat, symbolizes the desperate measures taken by enslaved people. It represents their efforts to reclaim even minimal control over their lives. The concept highlights the extreme hardship endured by individuals seeking freedom. It illustrates the profound desire for autonomy in the face of oppression. This loophole offered a glimmer of self-determination, however small. It underscores the resilience and ingenuity in resisting enslavement. Prolonged isolation profoundly impacts the human psyche, leading to significant psychological distress. Constant exposure to fear exacerbates this distress, creating an environment of chronic anxiety. Individuals who resisted through concealment often endured hidden suffering. This highlights the severe psychological toll on those living under such conditions. Chapter 19 explores the profound intergenerational strength within enslaved families. This strength is characterized by remarkable resilience in the face of adversity. The grandmother emerges as a pivotal matriarchal figure within these family structures. She embodies defiance and protection, safeguarding her family across generations. Chapter 20 examines the complex legal status of fugitive slaves. It clarifies that escape did not automatically grant freedom to enslaved individuals. Instead, fleeing initiated a new phase of legal vulnerability for them. Fugitive slaves faced ongoing legal challenges and the risk of recapture. Their status remained legally precarious, subject to specific laws and enforcement. Chapter 21 illustrates the relentless pursuit by slaveholders like Dr. Flint. This pursuit was a deliberate form of psychological warfare against enslaved individuals. The objective was to systematically break the spirit of those who resisted. Slaveholders employed tactics designed to undermine the mental fortitude of the enslaved. Their actions aim to enforce submission and prevent defiance. This strategy highlights the profound psychological impact of slavery on its victims. Chapter 22 employs the literary device of contrasting forced holiday cheer with societal realities. This contrast serves to expose the inherent hypocrisy within the depicted society. It highlights the moral bankruptcy of a society that celebrates amidst profound injustice. The narrative critiques the perpetuation of severe injustices while maintaining a facade of festivity. Chapter 23 explores the concept of true freedom beyond physical constraints. It emphasizes that genuine freedom encompasses mental and emotional liberation. For the character Linda, this deeper form of freedom remained unattainable. Even in her secluded retreat, she experienced a lack of true liberation. Her constant anxiety prevented her from achieving mental and emotional peace. Thus, her physical sanctuary did not translate into inner freedom. Chapter 24 significantly develops the grandmother's character. She is portrayed as a symbol of quiet strength. Her character embodies enduring hope. Her unwavering support is crucial for Linda's survival. This highlights her foundational role in the narrative. Chapter 25 highlights Linda's exemplary strategic thinking. It demonstrates her capability to outwit her oppressor effectively. This narrative emphasizes intelligence as a critical tool. Cunning is also presented as an essential element for survival. These qualities were crucial for resistance against adversity. Linda's actions exemplify the power of wit in overcoming oppression. Chapter 26 details the children's journey north, a pivotal moment in their quest for freedom. Mr. Sands plays a crucial role in facilitating this journey, providing essential assistance. This narrative highlights the complex and often morally ambiguous alliances formed. Such alliances are frequently necessary for individuals striving to achieve freedom. Chapter 27 details the arduous nature of an escape journey. It highlights the significant physical hardships encountered by those undertaking such a path. The narrative also explores the profound emotional risks involved in the escape. These challenges underscore the immense courage required for the endeavor. The journey is characterized as perilous, demanding extraordinary resilience. It emphasizes the bravery of individuals facing such a life-threatening situation. Abolitionist networks played a crucial role in the fight against slavery. These networks provided safe havens for enslaved individuals seeking freedom. They offered practical assistance, including shelter, food, and guidance. This collective effort was instrumental in undermining the institution of slavery. The networks demonstrated organized resistance against systemic oppression. Their actions highlight the power of unity in challenging injustice. Chapter 29 depicts a significant reunion, bringing profound joy to the protagonist. This reunion, specifically with her children, signifies a partial victory in her journey. However, this moment of happiness is overshadowed by the ongoing threat of the fugitive slave law. The lingering trauma from past experiences also tempers the joy of the reunion. Thus, the chapter portrays a complex emotional state, blending triumph with persistent danger and pain. Chapter 30 details the fugitive slave law, a pivotal and controversial piece of legislation. This law effectively mandated federal officials to assist in the capture and return of escaped enslaved people. It denied alleged fugitives the right to a jury trial and prevented them from testifying on their own behalf. The law also imposed severe penalties on anyone aiding runaway slaves or obstructing their capture. It intensified sectional tensions between the North and South, contributing significantly to the Civil War. Chapter 31 depicts life in Philadelphia, highlighting its status as a free city. Despite its freedom, the city's inhabitants faced a continuous need for vigilance. This constant watchfulness was necessitated by an ever-present danger. The primary threat came from slave catchers, who operated even in free territories. Their presence meant that safety was never fully guaranteed for free individuals. Therefore, caution was an essential part of daily life in Philadelphia. Chapter 32 details the practical functions of the Vigilance Committee. The committee provided crucial legal aid to fugitive slaves. It also offered essential housing support for those seeking refuge. Protection services were a key component of their operations. These services were indispensable for the survival and freedom of fugitive slaves. Chapter 33 focuses on Linda's journey toward an independent life. This chapter highlights her strong work ethic and unwavering determination. Linda's primary motivation is to create a stable environment for her children. Her efforts are driven by a desire to overcome past challenges and build a new future. The narrative underscores her resilience in providing for her family despite previous hardships. Dr. Flint's death in Chapter 34 brings a moment of relief. This relief highlights a deeper realization about the nature of freedom. Freedom is understood as a complex and multifaceted process. It is not merely the absence of a direct oppressor or immediate threat. Chapter 35 examines the profound psychological impact of slavery. It highlights that physical emancipation does not guarantee mental freedom. Survivors often endure lasting mental and emotional suffering. This reveals the complex, enduring trauma beyond physical chains. Chapter 36 explores the complex act of purchasing freedom. This act is presented as a necessary means to liberation. However, it is also deeply unsettling in its implications. The transaction reinforces the concept of human beings as property. This paradox exists even within the very act of achieving freedom. Chapter 37 concludes with a powerful call to action for readers. It urges individuals to actively join the abolitionist cause. The text emphasizes the profound moral failings inherent in the institution of slavery. Readers are encouraged to understand the ethical implications of this practice. The concluding remarks aim to inspire active participation in social justice. This serves as a directive for moral engagement against systemic injustice. The author's preface outlines the narrative's core intent. It aims to provide an authentic and unvarnished account of slavery's impact. A particular focus is placed on the experiences of women under slavery. The narrative challenges prevailing romanticized views of this historical period. This approach ensures a truthful depiction of the harsh realities faced. Lydia Maria Child's introduction sets the narrative as a crucial historical document. Her framing emphasizes the document's significance for understanding past events. Child urges readers to confront and accept difficult truths presented within the text. This acceptance is presented as a prerequisite for achieving justice. The narrative aims to inspire and facilitate broader social change. Thus, the introduction serves to prepare readers for challenging content and its purpose. The initial chapters chronicle Linda's life journey. Her story begins with a deceptive childhood innocence. This innocence transitions into the harsh realities of sexual exploitation. She faces a constant struggle to maintain dignity. This struggle occurs under an oppressive societal system.